I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. We are now learning that one of Trump's lead lawyers who has been directly involved in interacting with the Department of Justice and the National Archives both before, during, and after the search warrant executed at Mar-A-Lago, yes, Christina Bobb, well, she's now retained a lawyer. It's being reported by the New York Times because she faces serious and significant criminal exposure based on her conduct relating to the search warrant, her conduct before as well. We've covered in detail Christina Bobb's humiliating, embarrassing, dangerous, and incriminating appearances that she's made on radical right extremist news networks, where her and Alina Habba have basically just continued lie after lie after lie. I mean, first they claim that there wasn't a search warrant. They claim that the documents were planted at Mar-A-Lago. Christina Bobb said, nuclear records? I don't know if there may or may not be nuclear records. It is my understanding that I don't know what my understanding was. She was famously grilled, of all people, by Laura Ingraham, who said, if your goal was to unseal the affidavit at Mar-a-Lago, why wouldn't you file a motion to unseal the affidavit? Which Christina Bobb responded, I'm not sure. It's my understanding that we reserve our rights to do what we want to do. Well, it also turns out that Christina Bobb was there when the search warrant was executed. She actually signed the return of the search warrant on August 8th. But what we've since learned, because Donald Trump has done these filings before Judge Eileen Cannon, the motion for judicial oversight and related relief, the government has made filings that demonstrated that on June 3rd, Christina Bobb signed affirmations and signed declarations to the Department of Justice, attesting to the fact that she conducted a diligent search of Mar-a-Lago, and as of June 3rd, returned all of the information, including a subset of confidential information, which she put in a red weld, and that she sent to the Department of Justice, or handed off to the top counterintelligence official at the DOJ, who showed up at Mar-a-Lago on June 3rd when she invited him to show up there. Now, of course, we know that the representations that were made by Christina Bobb in her declaration to the Department of Justice, that all of the documents were returned to them. And this was in connection, by the way, with a grand jury subpoena, which was issued in May of 2022. So a grand jury issues a subpoena in May for records after the Department of Justice realizes that the documents that Trump and his lawyers claim they returned back in January were not actually the full set of documents. Grand jury subpoena then in May, and then Christina Bobb has the Department of Justice show up at Mar-a-Lago on June 3rd. She gives him this red weld filled with which she claims is all of the remaining documents. By the way, she does not make any claim there over executive privilege. She does not object to turning over those documents, but turns over actually a set of classified records that should have been returned months earlier, but certifies under penalty of perjury, whether it was penalty of perjury or not, you still can't lie to the government, but she signed under penalty of perjury that these documents, to the best of her knowledge, were all of the documents that existed at Mar-a-Lago, and that she conducted a diligent search. As the Department of Justice makes clear, though, in their most recent filings in response to Trump's motion for judicial oversight, she didn't conduct a diligent search because they identified 11 sets of classified information, totaling about 100 documents of classified information, which we're also learning separately could actually be nuclear secrets, which she was mocking earlier when the search was initially conducted, but that the government was able to identify these records right away. So clearly she did not do a diligent search, and clearly she lied in her declaration. So she now has to lawyer up. And, here is the thing. It's like Christina Bobb, Alina Habba, this is like the next generation of lawyers who need to get lawyers in Trump's world. I mean, we saw what happened with Giuliani and Sidney Powell. How do you, as a lawyer, look at what happened with those other lawyers and go, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to follow in those footsteps. I mean, Trump's lawyers, we know about the high profile ones, Giuliani and Sidney Powell, but there's a lot of less high profile ones who filed those sham, fraudulent, frivolous pleadings in courts after the 2020 elections. And many of them have been sanctioned seriously or lost their legal licenses, or have been investigated for crimes by the Department of Justice and by other entities for their conduct that they engage in. A little background on Christina Bobb. Looks like she graduated from a law school that I didn't really know of in California, I believe, called Western Law School. She graduated in 2008. She ran for political office. I think she ran for a seat in Congress in 2014. And I believe she ran as an independent, but she received, of the 80,000 votes cast, she came in 8th place of 8 people, and she got 970 votes. She then worked within for Trump in a number of positions within the government itself, then left and worked for OAN, where she was a reporter at OAN, where she spread the big lie. And then after OAN, she now became Trump's lawyer in connection with this. Now, I want to say this too. It is very, very, very rare. I mean, I don't hear about it. Like, for a lawyer to certify on behalf of their client under penalty of perjury, or just to even certify that all of the documents were produced, is one of the most foolish and frankly inadvisable things that I could ever imagine, because you don't know. I mean, you're staking your entire legal career and potential prosecution of you based on representations of someone who's being criminally investigated. So it's very weird that she made that representation, but that just goes to show you the level of, in the cult of MAGA that she is, that she's willing to, go to jail for him. MAGA, make attorneys get attorneys. Now, I want to show you this clip because this is an incredible takedown of Donald Trump. And it's by Lee McGowan, who's also known as Politics Girl. And this is like a 2-minute clip that she did with MeidasTouch. And it is unbelievable because she makes this great point. And she goes, look, let's assume for the fact that Donald Trump is this great billionaire and MAGA. We'll accept all of your arguments as true. Well, if they were true, then why doesn't anybody want to represent him? Why can't he find a lawyer? If he's really a billionaire and he's really the one being persecuted, wouldn't lawyers want to line up for him? Here, play this clip.
Okay, let's work from the premise that Donald Trump is completely innocent. Let us begin from the starting point that Trump is a completely innocent billionaire who is an amazing president, a brilliant businessman, and is being unfairly targeted by an overzealous, corrupt Justice Department. Let's just say all of that is true, which I believe is what some people feel. If that is the case, then where are his lawyers? I don't mean the ex-OAN host supermodel he met at Mar-A-Lago or the ex-Bannon low-level defense lawyer he hired without meeting, both who are now in legal trouble themselves. I mean, where are the top-of-their-class Harvard Law School defense attorneys out of New York or Dallas or Miami or Los Angeles? I mean, this is a high-profile client, a Republican billionaire ex-president. Who wouldn't want to represent him? Especially if you're working from the premise that he is completely innocent and the subject of a gross overstep by the FBI, and there is endless proof that everything he's done is completely justified. Where is the crack legal team? Where are the firms charging thousands of dollars an hour? He should have the best legal minds in the country tripping over themselves to represent him. Where is the team put together from the Federalist Society lawyers? Leonard Leo and Donald Trump had a deal. They support him to become president, and they get to pick all of his justices, including the 3 Supreme Court picks. Being the frontrunner for the Republican nominee for president should give Trump first draft pick of any top-notch conservative lawyer he wants. So where are they? There was a period of time just after the 2020 election when he was represented by a great firm in New York, but they quit before they took his stolen election case to court. That's how we ended up with Jenna Ellis and Rudy Giuliani. No one else would do it. Why not? Who doesn't want to represent the President of the United States? Especially if there's tons of evidence proving his case. Careers are made on such high-profile wins. So where are the conservative Republican bulldog defense attorneys? Where is Trump's Johnny Cochran saying if it doesn't fit, you must acquit? People represent guilty murderers all the time for profit and high-profile wins. Which lawyer turns away a rich, innocent, high-profile client? It's a legitimate question. Because no matter what you hear on TV or Truth Social or Facebook or from Trump himself about planted evidence and a corrupt FBI or declassified information, ask yourself, then where are the lawyers? Because if everything Trump and his defenders have said is true, then there would be a line around the block to represent him, but no one is there. So next time you go to defend him, ask yourself why no one who would make money from doing the same thing will take the job. Because I think that tells you everything you need to know.
You know, the point that Lee McGowan makes in this is unbelievable. Lee McGowan hosts a podcast as well on the MeidasTouch network. When I watched that, I went viral on Twitter. I was like, yes, you said it so perfectly there. If you want to support MeidasTouch, there's a few ways to do it. I get these comments all the time. How can we support independent media? We're not funded by billionaires. We're not funded by millionaires or 100,000aires. We're funded by ourselves. It's just me and my brothers. We have a shoestring budget, and we do this based on all of your support. So one way you can do it, just hit the subscribe button, share these videos. That's one way you can support MeidasTouch. We also just started a Patreon account. So if you go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch, MeidasTouch, you could become a patron of MeidasTouch. And there are different tiers and different levels, but some of the levels allow you to become a producer of the MeidasTouch podcast. You get postcards from us. We have other exclusive content. We have behind the scenes footage. And so that's a way that you can help support the growth of this independent media network. Or you could also check out store.MeidasTouch.com is another way you can help us out as well by buying merch. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. I'll see you on the next one.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.